Today we're going to be talking about one of the fastest growing alternative ways to save for retirement in the country. It's offered by some of the oldest, largest, most financially stable companies in America, and it offers the potential to create tax-free income that can last until you're 120 years old. It also guarantees you'll never lose a penny in the stock market while doing it. So stick around, you can't afford to miss this.
Well, initially I had a ton of questions, right? I mean, it's just an investigation. Well, this sounds a little too good to be true. And once you actually peel back that onion, it's not too good to be true. It's the real deal.
The stock market is totally volatile. Nobody knows where that's going, and we live in some scary times as far as making decisions about your retirement.
Why would I go out there and take on risk when I don't need to?
When I found out that an average person like me could save hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes during retirement, I was amazed.
Some of my friends still worry about losing all their money in the stock market. I don't have to worry about that.
Of course, having money coming out tax-free, if you're looking at that, you're going, okay, well, we're saving for the unknown, and the tax brackets in the future are unknown. And so if we know what we're getting into ahead of time and it's coming out tax-free, that's fantastic. That's amazing.
Hello everyone and welcome to the show. I'm Stephanie Danielson. Thanks for joining us. You know, every day it seems like there's another piece of news that reminds us of what uncertain economic times we live in. One of the things on the minds of many Americans is trying to secure enough retirement income to last their entire lives. In fact, many are concerned they may never be able to retire at all. According to the Employee Benefit Research Institute, the average 401k will run out of money 7 to 8 years into retirement. Well, with us here today to discuss the situation and hopefully offer some solutions is Eric Palmer with IFL, Retirement and Insurance Services. Thanks for joining us, Eric.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie.
So, Eric, I understand IFL offers many of the financial instruments people are familiar with, but in researching the show, I did notice one vehicle I had never heard of before. So I'd like to start off with that. If you could tell us about these IULs, Indexed Universal Life Products. What are they and why should I have one? I already have a retirement plan.
Are you happy with it?
I could be happier. I actually took my money out of the stock market and put it into CDs because I just couldn't take the ups and downs of the market anymore.
Well, actually, one of the great things about IULs is that they offer safety and growth. This graph is a comparison of the performance of one of the IULs we represent to the S&P index from 1999 to 2011. This line shows what happened if your typical retirement plan account had $100,000 invested directly in the S&P 500. In January of 2011, you would have had over $102,000 in that account. But with an Indexed Universal Life contract, you would have had well over $220,000. Which would you have preferred?
I'm going to have to go with the IUL on that one.
Well, this is why IULs have been growing in popularity about 38% a year since 2006.
It's easy to see why when looking at the graph, but Eric, why is the return so much higher with the IUL?
Well, watch. When the stock market goes down, the IUL doesn't suffer market losses. That's because IULs have what is called a guaranteed 0% floor, which is another way of saying you're guaranteed to never lose your money in the stock market. In years when the market goes up, IULs go up, and it's up to a certain cap. In this case, it's 14%. Then the gains are locked, and the 0% floor is reset at this higher level. Now, this is what we call the lock and reset provision.
But isn't that a bad thing? I mean, shouldn't I make sure I capture all of the gains in the years the market goes up? I mean, what if it goes up 20%? I want all of that. Well,
it's not a bad thing when you're guaranteed 0% market losses. Here's a graph showing what would have happened if you invested $100,000 in the S&P 500 in 1930. By 2010, it would have grown to just over $10 million. Now, here's what would happen if I take that same $100,000 with a 0% floor and a 14% market cap. It's just over $36 million.
Wow, is that for real? A $26 million difference.
It is real, Stephanie. Now watch this. From 1930 to 1932, there were 3 years of really bad losses in a row. Watch what happens to that $10 million when we start with $100,000 in 1933 instead of 1930. By 2010, it's just over $31 million instead of the $10 million. It's a $21 million difference just because you didn't have those 3 years of really bad losses.
Well, you can certainly appreciate the value of a zero market loss guarantee when you learn all of this, but I still don't understand what exactly an IUL is.
Well, Stephanie, first and foremost, an IUL is life insurance, which means it protects your loved ones against loss of income during working years and provides your heirs with a tax-free death benefit when you die.
That's obviously a good thing.
It's a great thing. But But an IUL, or Indexed Universal Life, is also cash value life insurance, and not just any old cash value life insurance either. IULs are designed and created by some of the smartest, most sophisticated financial experts in the world to offer people potential to create tax-free income streams that can last until you're 120 years old. That, of course, when they're structured properly and funded properly within IRS codes 7702 and 72E guidelines.
Wait a minute. You just breezed past something pretty important there. Did I hear you correctly? Did you just say tax-free income?
I did, Stephanie. You heard me correctly.
How is that possible? We all have to pay income tax. How do you get tax-free income? Is that even legal?
IULs are offered by some of the oldest, most financially conservative and stable companies in history, in what is certainly one of the most regulated industries in the world, the insurance industry. So I can assure you that yes, tax-free income is legal when it's created within IRS guidelines. But that's why it's so important to work with an IFL specialist. They know how to structure them properly.
That's certainly important for creating tax-free income, and even more important, especially these days, is people want security.
Well, you're right, Stephanie. Let me read you a clip from an article that appeared in the Wall Street Journal in 2010. For decades, whole life insurance, with its tax-free investment component, was the cornerstone of many families' security. The percentage of families buying such policies began sliding in the 1980s with the proliferation of other savings options such as mutual funds and 401k accounts. Well, given the current state of the economy, that's why people are turning back to insurance to create lifetime streams of income.
Well, stick around, everyone. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Eric Palmer of IFL, and you absolutely do not want to miss what he's going to show us next.
Tired of watching your retirement account go up and down and up and down on the never-ending stock market roller coaster? Worried that your safe but low-rate of return CD or money market account will virtually guarantee you run out of money during retirement? Well, now's your chance to learn about the fastest-growing alternative way to create tax-free supplemental retirement income in the country, Indexed Universal Life Insurance, or IUL.
We find our friends who are in the stock market, they actually have to catch up because they've lost money. And this instrument, you don't lose the money. You lock in and then you move forward when the market moves forward.
For years I've been contributing to a 401k, so you know annually a certain amount of your paycheck is going towards some sort of retirement investment. And when you log on one day to your 401k administrator website and notice it's down 30%, and you go, well, that's great. Had it been over here, it would never be down $1. Time to stop the 401k investments, time to start the IUL.
I have a lot less stress knowing I can't lose any more of my retirement savings in the stock market.
You know, living in fear of the next market dive is not the way I want to live my life.
Call our operators or go to our website and give us your age, the age you'd like to retire, and how much you're currently saving or can afford to currently save for retirement each month. If it's $200 or more a month and you're under 65, we'll prepare your IUL illustration absolutely free of charge. If you're over 65, we can help you with other options. Your IUL illustration is a detailed financial analysis over 20 pages long that shows you the potential of saving with an IUL. Act now and you'll also get a free comparison of your IUL to a typical retirement plan. IFL works with only A-rated life insurance companies who have been in business over 100 years and have billions in assets, so you can rest easy that your money is safe and secure. Your IFL specialist is a state-licensed life insurance agent specifically trained in IULs. Each and every detail of your IUL illustration will be explained to you absolutely free. And here's the best part. Your IFL specialist will present your illustration either in person or right over the internet in a one-on-one webinar. You decide. You only have so much time to save for retirement. Can you afford another decade or two of ups and downs in the stock market? With an IUL, you'll never lose a penny in the stock market again. No more market losses, ever.
I still have money in the stock market, but the core of my retirement savings is in an IUL. I don't want to risk the money that I can't afford to lose.
At first, my accountant told me that there was no such thing as a legal tax-free income. I showed him some information, and it turns out he was wrong.
And I'm at the age now where I'm going to be retiring somewhat soon, and I can sleep at night knowing that I have this.
My old 401k was tax deferred, but my IUL is tax free. That's what sealed the deal for me.
What are you waiting for? Pick up the phone or go to our website and discover what an IUL could potentially do for your future. You spend decades of the best years of your life earning a living and saving for retirement. You owe it to yourself and your family to learn how the fastest growing way to create tax-free retirement income in the country could provide each of you a safe and secure future. Plan a retirement that doesn't involve trying to figure out how to make your money last without running out when you're in your 70s, 80s, or even 90s. Enjoy your golden years without constantly worrying about the stock market and which way it's heading next. Retirement is the time to do the things you've dreamt about your entire life. Call right now or go to our website. You simply cannot afford to miss out on this exciting opportunity. A brighter future is waiting for you and your loved ones.
We're back with Eric Palmer of IFL Retirement and Insurance Services. So Eric, I understand you're going to show us a comparison that demonstrates the differences of the potential of an IUL versus what someone could expect with a typical retirement plan, such as a 401k.
Well, I'm going to do exactly that, Stephanie. The comparisons we're going to make are with account growth, income, taxes, and fees. But before we get started, Stephanie, I want to be really clear about something with you and the viewers. What we're going to show you is not guaranteed. This is an illustration for educational purposes only. It shows what would have happened if one of the IULs we represent was properly structured and funded, given the current cap rate and fees for this particular IUL, and given the performance of the S&P 500 over the last 25 years. Are we clear on that?
100% perfectly clear.
So here we have a 25-year-old woman. Let's call her Sarah. She's putting $400 a month into a typical retirement plan like a 401k. She's at a 25% tax bracket with state and federal taxes, so she's deferring about $100 a month in income tax. With an index UL, since there's no tax deferment, she's only going to put about $300 a month in so that she has an exact same amount of spendable income whether she chooses to save for retirement with a typical plan or with an IUL.
Okay, so it's a fair comparison.
Exactly. So we figure both at a rate of 7.5% until age 65. So at retirement, the typical plan has $787,429 in it, and the IUL has an account value of over $880,000.
So a higher account value with the IUL.
Exactly. Now let's move on to the income comparison because like I told you earlier, the potential to create income streams that last is where IULs really come on strong. With the IUL, we see Sarah is drawing $92,517 in tax-free income in retirement. Look, at 75 years old, she's withdrawn $925,170, and by 85, she's taken well over $1.8 million, and she's only contributed $144,000 into her IUL during her working years. Now, with the typical plan, Sarah would have to pay taxes on her retirement income, so she has to take out $123,356 a year to have the same net spendable income of $92,517 if she was still in a 25% tax bracket. As we scroll up the years, she runs out of money a little over 7 years into retirement. So at age 73, she runs completely out of money.
But what about matching contributions from her employer? That's one of the major benefits of a typical plan.
Employers aren't required to contribute matching funds, and in fact, each year, fewer and fewer are doing so. But for this comparison, let's say she's making $48,000 a year, and her employer matches 100% of her contributions up to 6% of her salary. That would be an annual employer contribution of about $2,880. Her account value at age 65 would be about $1.2 million, and she would run out of money still at age 77.
And this is somebody that's doing everything right. How's that possible?
Well, Stephanie, like I said earlier, 401ks were designed as executive tax shelters, not as retirement plans. IULs were designed to create income streams that last. Let's move on and compare the taxes you pay with IULs that are structured and funded properly versus the taxes you pay with the typical retirement plan.
So with a typical plan, you get to defer income taxes, and with an IUL, you don't. Now, isn't that a major drawback if you decide to go with the IUL? After all, that's one of the great things about a 401k, and you miss out on that with the IUL.
Well, you're right, Stephanie. IULs don't allow you to defer your income tax. But when structured and funded properly, IULs do allow you to draw money tax-free. Look, with a typical retirement plan, Sarah deferred $100 a month or $1,200 a year for 40 years, so she deferred a total of $48,000 in income taxes.
A good thing?
Yes, but now she's retired and paying $30,839 a year in income taxes. So watch, in less than 2 years, she's paid back all of the $48,000 she's deferred, plus an additional $13,678. By the age of 73, when her typical plan runs out of money, she's paid a total of $246,712 in ordinary income tax during retirement.
I guess you don't really think about having to pay the taxes back.
Well, that's right. Now, look at the IUL side, Stephanie. Sarah's saving $30,839 a year in income tax. By 75, she saved over $308,000. By age 85, she saved $616,780. And if she lives to 99, she's well over $1 million of taxes saved, above and beyond that $48,000 that she gave up in tax deferment, just for choosing the IUL.
Okay, this time I'm speechless. That's unbelievable. Why doesn't everyone want to save that kind of money in income taxes?
Well, this is another reason why IULs are becoming so popular. Wealthy people in America have been taking advantage of this for a long time. In that same Wall Street Journal article that we saw earlier, it says that 22% of assets accumulated in tax-free life insurance policies were held by the wealthiest 1% of U.S. families in 2007. It gives the affluent tax advantages far beyond those available to middle-income people through 401ks or IRAs.
So fees. We're always told that the fees are way too high with cash value life insurance. So how do you respond to that?
Well, primarily I say that it's false, Stephanie. Fees are higher in the initial years of saving with an IUL, but by about the 10th year or so, they're actually lower than the fees with a typical retirement plan. Also, people who say that are often referring to surrender fees rather than actual fees. If you're using an IUL to create supplemental retirement income, you don't intend to surrender the contract. You can see here that the fees start off higher with the IUL, but within 10 years they're actually lower. By the time she's 65, she's paid over 4 times more in fees with the typical retirement plan than with her IUL. And her IUL fees include life insurance. The typical plan doesn't.
Well, this is all very eye-opening, Eric. We need to take a quick break here, but folks, stick around. We're talking about something you simply can't afford to miss, the potential to create tax-free retirement income with an IUL. We'll be right back.
Tired of watching your retirement account go up and down and up and down on the never-ending stock market roller coaster? Worried that your safe but low-rated return CD or money market account will virtually guarantee you run out of money during retirement? Well, now's your chance to learn about the fastest-growing alternative way to create tax-free supplemental retirement income in the country, Indexed Universal Life Insurance, or IUL.
Crashing years of 2008 was very challenging. And stressful, logging on and seeing your balance slowly decline, wondering when's the bottom going to drop out. Is this the bottom? I don't know what to do. It was just a perfect wake-up call to say, hey, we need to investigate different avenues of where to invest. And for me, it was a no-brainer to use the IUL.
Well, one of the reasons we got an IUL is for later on the flexibility to be able to pull out money for living expenses after we're retired and not to have tax implications for that.
Well, we had heard from several people on TV and radio that investing in life insurance was a bad idea. And when I researched everything, I found that the fees were actually lower and almost half of the vehicles that they're recommending.
I like to have something that I understand completely, and the IUL is something that anyone can understand.
Call our operators or go to our website and give us your age, the age you'd like to retire, and how much you're currently saving or can afford to currently save for retirement each month. If it's $200 or more a month and you're under 65, we'll prepare your IUL illustration absolutely free of charge. If you're over 65, we can help you with other options. Your IUL illustration is a detailed financial analysis over 20 pages long that shows you the potential of saving with an IUL. Act now and you'll also get a free comparison of your IUL to a typical retirement plan. IFL works with only A-rated life insurance companies who have been in business over 100 years and have billions in assets, so you can rest easy that your money is safe and secure. Your IFL specialist is a state-licensed life insurance agent specifically trained in IULs. Each and every detail of your IUL illustration will be explained to you absolutely free. And here's the best part. Your IFL specialist will present your illustration either in person or right over the internet in a one-on-one webinar. You decide. You only have so much time to save for retirement. Can you afford another decade or two of ups and downs in the stock market? With an IUL, you'll never lose a penny in the stock market again. No more market losses, ever.
None of us knows what the future holds as far as what the tax rates are going to be. But with the IUL, I found out that I can take tax-free policy loans out and never really touch the principal of my policy.
Once I looked into it, I found out the fees were much less than what I was paying with my 401k.
The potential tax savings with an IUL are remarkable.
There are small fees to manage it, but in comparison, this is absolutely the way to go.
I no longer worry about how I should invest my money for retirement. With an IUL, it's easy.
The real kicker for me was that all investments have fees associated with them. But with the IUL, I actually get something for it. I get life insurance. It protects my child, protects my wife, protects my son at home. With the other fees associated with the mutual funds, that just goes to Wall Street and my financial advisor. And I'm lucky to get a Christmas card on an annual basis.
What are you waiting for? Pick up the phone or go to our website and discover what an IUL could potentially do for your future. You spend decades of the best years of your life earning a living and saving for retirement. You owe it to yourself and your family to learn how the fastest growing way to create tax-free retirement income in the country could provide each of you a safe and secure future. Plan a retirement that doesn't involve trying to figure out how to make your money last without running out when you're in your 70s, 80s, or even 90s. Enjoy your golden years without constantly worrying about the stock market and which way it's heading next. Retirement is the time to do the things you've dreamt about your entire life. Call right now or go to our website. You simply cannot afford to miss out on this exciting opportunity. A brighter future is waiting for you and your loved ones.
Welcome back, everyone. So, Eric, I was going over the comparison numbers you showed us during the break, and I have a few bones to pick with you.
Okay, Stephanie, fire away.
So you show Sarah running out of money a little over 7 years into retirement with the typical plan because she's taking out over $123,000 a year. Well, that's 16% of her account. Now, all of the financial advice I've read says you should take out 4% for that very reason. So you don't run out of money. Now, how do you respond to that?
Well, I respond by saying, let's take a look at it. And by the way, Stephanie, I want to remind everybody that all of the examples they see here are illustrations used for educational purposes only. These are not guaranteed figures. That's why you have to call into IFL and get a customized quote for yourself. Now, Sarah has $787,429 in her typical retirement account. If she took out 4%, that would be $31,497. After paying 25% in taxes, she'd have $23,622. Now, even if inflation was only 2%, which is far below the average, that $23,622 would be worth less than half of what it is today. So she'd have an income of less than $11,811 a year, which is about $984 a month. And that's if she took 4% a year out of her typical retirement plan.
Okay, but here's another problem I have. You show Sarah making only a 7.5% return with the typical plan. Now, the average stock market return for the last 20 years has been 9.4%. So her return should have been almost 2% higher, which would have made a big difference at how high her account was at retirement.
Well, Stephanie, a lot of people don't like to accept what I'm about to tell you, but it's really the best way to respond to your statement. In 2004, John Bogle, founder and former chief officer of the Vanguard Group Mutual Funds, testified in a special U.S. Senate hearing, and this is what he had to say. During the period of 1984 to 2002, the U.S. stock market, as measured by the S&P 500 index, provided an annual rate of return of 12.2%. The return on the average mutual fund was 9.3%. But during that same period, the average mutual fund shareholder only earned a return of 2.6% a year. That's because the average investor invested most of their money not only at the wrong time, but in the wrong funds. In our example, Sarah had a return of 6% after fees. That's more than double what the average mutual fund investor received from 1984 to 2002, according to John Bogle's U.S. Senate testimony. So I think our example was more than fair.
Okay, but what about fees? You show them at 1.5%. I always thought they were 1%.
Well, according to the National Association of U.S. Investment Companies, or the ICI, the industry average 401k fee is close to 1.5%, and that doesn't even include mutual fund fees.
But Eric, we all hear that we should buy term and invest the rest.
Well, like I said earlier, Stephanie, people who say that usually know little or nothing about IULs, and they are almost always referring to surrender fees rather than actual fees.
I guess the biggest problem I'm having with all of this is it just seems too good to be true. I mean, why doesn't everyone already know about IULs, and why doesn't everyone already have one?
We actually hear that a lot at IFL. Look, first of all, a lot of people have heard about IULs already. As I said earlier, they've been growing by about 38% a year since 2006. So more and more people have heard of them, and more people have them. As far as being too good to be true, well, it really comes down to three things that make IULs so effective in having the potential to create income streams that last. First, they're very efficient at growing because they don't suffer stock market losses, so you don't have to play catch-up every time the market takes a hit. Second, when you start drawing in retirement income with an IUL, your account can continue to grow because you aren't taking money out of your account, you're taking a loan against your account. It's just like your home. Its value can continue to go up even though you take loans against it. This is what really sets IULs apart. Now, the third thing is that because the income you draw from your IUL is tax-free, you need less of it in order to have more spendable income. These are the main reasons IULs can do what they do in terms of generating income that lasts. But Stephanie, IULs have other incredible features and benefits that we haven't even had time to touch on.
What more does someone need than life insurance and the potential to create tax-free income that can last a lifetime? I think that would cover it for me.
Well, how about no contribution limits? You can draw money at any age with no penalties. It eliminates exposure to future tax increases, and it doesn't increase taxes on Social Security income. You're able to receive early death benefit for assisted living, and even if you have a terminal or chronic illness, in some cases you can get some money up front.
All right, Eric. What are you doing after the show? Because I'm pretty sure you have a new client.
Well, Stephanie, I always have time for a new client, so it looks like I'm meeting with you.
Terrific. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Stephanie Danielson. Be sure to contact an IFL specialist to get your customized illustration.
Tired of watching your retirement account go up and down on the never-ending stock market roller coaster? Worried that your safe but low rate of return CD or money market account will virtually guarantee you run out of money during retirement? Well, now's your chance to learn about the fastest growing alternative way to create tax-free supplemental retirement income in the country, Indexed Universal Life Insurance, or IUL.
When I invested in the stock market, in my retirement fund, I don't know enough about the stock market. I'm not confident in where those dollars are being put. All I know is sometimes they go down, and that's never a pleasant feeling.
I found myself in a situation where I needed to borrow some money from my IUL, and it was as simple as could be.
The IUL is our primary vehicle for savings, although we do have money in the stock market. But it's our primary because we still can earn market rates of return with no risk. And so why take on risk of losing 30 or 40%, as I've seen twice now in my adult life, when we don't need to?
Call our operators or go to our website and give us your age, the age you'd like to retire, and how much you're currently saving or can afford to currently save for retirement each month. If it's $200 or more a month and you're under 65, we'll prepare your IUL illustration absolutely free of charge. If you're over 65, we can help you with other options. Your IUL illustration is a detailed financial analysis over 20 pages long that shows you the potential of saving with an IUL. Act now and you'll also get a free comparison of your IUL to a typical retirement plan. IFL works with only A-rated life insurance companies who have been in business over 100 years and have billions in assets, so you can rest easy that your money is safe and secure. Your IFL specialist is a state-licensed life insurance agent specifically trained in IULs. Each and every detail of your IUL illustration will be explained to you absolutely free. And here's the best part. Your IFL specialist will present your illustration either in person or right over the internet in a one-on-one webinar. You decide. You only have so much time to save for retirement. Can you afford another decade or two of ups and downs in the stock market? With an IUL, you'll never lose a penny in the stock market again. No more market losses, ever.
I don't have to try to figure out where to invest my money in the stock market. There is less risk and more potential rewards with an IUL.
Many of my friends still live in fear because so much of their retirement income is tied up in the stock market.
I have yet to find anything negative about this. I don't know. I'd challenge someone to tell me how this is not the best vehicle out there for it.
An IUL is perfect for someone like me. And really, I can't imagine it wouldn't be perfect for just about anybody.
What are you waiting for? Pick up the phone or go to our website and discover what an IUL could potentially do for your future. You spend decades of the best years of your life earning a living and saving for retirement. You owe it to yourself and your family to learn how the fastest growing way to create tax-free retirement income in the country could provide each of you a safe and secure future. Plan a retirement that doesn't involve trying to figure out how to make your money last without running out when you're in your 70s, 80s, or even 90s. Enjoy your golden years without constantly worrying about the stock market and which way it's heading next. Retirement is the time to do the things you've dreamt about your entire life. Call right now or go to our website. You simply cannot afford to miss out on this exciting opportunity. A brighter future is waiting for you and your loved ones.